Oh, God.
Hey there, welcome to the Winx Forever podcast. I'm Lola, creator, host, and lifelong Winx fan. I'm taking a deep dive into the very cool universe of Winx Club. So join me each week as we rewatch and discuss each episode starting with season 1 of the original series. So whether you've been a Winx fan since 2004 like myself, or you vaguely remember the show from your childhood, or maybe if you're even being introduced to it for the first time, I want to say welcome. This is the Winx Forever podcast. Hello, fairy friends. Welcome back to the Winx Forever podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lola Valentine. We are back from our little mid-season break. I had a really good break and time to just catch up on things, but we are ready to dive back into our rewatch of the original first season of Winx Club with episode 14. But you know I couldn't do this episode alone, so I have invited TikToker, musician, actor, and all-around animation enthusiast, Winro the Square. Winro, thanks so much for being on the show today. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me. That's actually the best intro I've gotten for a podcast, actually.
Well, that's good. Yay. That makes me happy.
Like, yeah. Talk that shit.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. You got to list out all the things you do because, I mean, like, dude, you do so much. And, like, it's really inspiring, honestly. Like, you make such fun and engaging content on TikTok, but also you're a musician and an actor. Like, gosh, like, how do you do it all? Like, I just want to hear all about it.
I just, you just gotta sacrifice some things, and the things I had to sacrifice was sleep. So
I feel that, like, on a spiritual level. Yes, definitely. Well, since it is your first time on the podcast, I'd like to give our first time guest a chance to let our listeners know a little bit about themselves and kind of what they do. So let's get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
Like I said, you have a lot of fun, like, relatable content on TikTok that, I mean, you kind of pull from and involve, like, so many different popular shows and cartoons, which, I mean, I love because I truly do feel like that, like, you and I had similar experiences with the type of content and shows that we grew up with. Like, it's nostalgic and just fun to be like, oh, I wasn't the only one, like, raised by my television. Like, that's great.
Yes. Yeah.
But you do post these really fun TikToks. How did you get started just creating content for this platform? And, like, I guess why?
Well, on TikTok, I've always wanted to, like, make, funny skits and videos. Yeah. I guess I didn't really have the confidence or time to do it. And then I saw how big TikTok was becoming. And this was, I want to say 2019. I just put out a random video on Instagram first of the first Funko Pops I ever collected. And I just put out this scenario, like, what if Goku met Prince and Amy Winehouse?
Yes.
And that video was received decently well on Instagram. So I'm like, let me put it on TikTok. Yeah, and then the content started out with me making skits with the pops. I collect. Yeah. Nice. And then one Funko TikTok blew up where I made the whole Avatar gang.
Yes.
Where they meet Todoroki from My Hero Academia. I just posted it out of a whim. I'm like, you know what? I already edited it. It's edited. It's recorded. I'll just post it. See what happens. Right. I come back from lunch. I went from, like, 800 followers to 10,000. I was like, what the? Wait.
What is happening?
What? You guys liked that?
Does it surprise you what actually does, like, kind of hit? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In the beginning. Because in the beginning, I didn't really know what the niche was. I just knew this is what I like. Hopefully somebody out there likes it. But now that I'm almost at 600K, I'm like, they're going to laugh at this. Yes. I know they're going to laugh at this.
Yeah, what has been your experience kind of creating content for this platform? I mean, like you said, it kind of, sometimes you don't know when something is going to hit, but then you have these other, like nuggets, these gold, videos that you're like,
Exactly.
oh, this is the one. But is there ever a moment where you're like, oh, this is the one, and then it just like flops and you're like, oh, wah, wah,
Yeah. That happened like a week ago. Yeah, it happens. It happens currently. Yeah, where I'm just like, yes, this is the one. And I'm like, okay, didn't do as well as I thought it would. Okay, I'm gonna. But I recover from it a lot better than I did when I first started.
Definitely. Yeah.
It doesn't get to me as much now.
Yeah, because I mean, it's more or less just a learning curve, right? You just you learn as you go, and you're like, all right, that wasn't the one, and you just move on to the next one, and don't let it kind of affect. I mean, you can affect your creative process positively or negatively, and choose the positive. Yeah.
Yep.
What would you say to other creators that maybe want to begin posting on TikTok, but don't know where to start, or maybe don't have the confidence to start? What would you say to them?
Well, first, just do it. And I just really take the time to figure out what your niche is. And honestly, if you can't, whatever audience you just run into, they will help you figure it out as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't want to go into content creating as someone that knows everything and just has it all together. I want the fans and the followers to grow with me. I want to grow with them. I want to have all these experiences with them instead of, because the illusion in the beginning was people thought I was just this cartoon guru. I'm like, no, I'm just enjoying it the same way you guys are.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just talking about it, and you're part of the conversation. That's all it is.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, just find a way to make yourself engaging and inclusive to everybody. Mm-hmm. And the niche will come.
I love it.
But you got to start.
Yes,
you actually have to do something.
Yes, definitely. Just do the dang thing, and the rest, just learn as you go. For sure. But besides TikTok, you're just a very well-rounded creator. I mean, you also do music. How did you get into that? How did you start doing music?
I've been doing music since 2011.
Amazing.
And it started off around, I want to say, freshman year of high school. So that was like 2009. One of my best friends, we wrote like parody songs together.
Of course. I love it.
Yeah. So my love and inspiration for songwriting came from pretending to be Weird Al Yankovic for 2 years.
Oh, listen, you got to start somewhere. That's great.
Got to start somewhere. Then my parents saw the parody songs, and then my grades were slipping a lot. So I was not the best academically. So they're like, what the hell is this? What are you doing with your life? But once they saw the parody songs and told me, you need to get your grades together first, I tried to do better in class, and then I took songwriting more seriously. I started writing original songs.
Yeah.
And then 2011 comes around. It's junior year. We're going to be seniors. My friend starts beatboxing, and then I just start freestyling out of nowhere. I didn't even know I could do that.
Nice.
And then senior year comes along. There's a rap battle. I sign up. I won. It felt like a movie. That whole day felt like my own 8 Mile. It was it's still unbelievable every time I talk about it.
Yeah.
But after that win, that all of that validation and approval from people, I'm like, yeah, I can see myself doing this.
Yeah.
For a living. So yeah, in 2018, I put out an EP. I put out an album during 2020, and I'm currently finishing up a new project right now. Yeah. So yeah, the music, that's been going on for almost 11 years now. And I just got into acting last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's been an experience. I've got to be in a French indie movie.
Amazing. Do you speak French?
I don't.
Then you're a great actor.
I don't speak French. Luckily, none of the lines I had to do were French.
That's nice.
I'm like, hey, I'll just be the American boyfriend.
Yeah.
Of a French guy. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
Oh, that's absolutely incredible. So, is that coming out soon?
It should be coming. Yeah, they're finishing up production right now.
Nice.
Yeah, okay. So hopefully it'll come out sometime this summer. But yeah, I'm excited to watch it myself.
Yes. Oh, that's super cool. Super exciting. Wow. And then obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of your content on TikTok, is about different animated shows. What about animation do you enjoy? And like even now, on into your adulthood?
Man, where to begin? There was just so much more I learned from cartoons than live action. And they were just with cartoons, they're depending on the writer and the animator, they're just so good at just like sneaking in life lessons.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could still be an adult and take those lessons from kid shows to this day. Like I can still take in so much lessons and knowledge and wisdom from Hey Arnold.
Oh yeah.
To this day. But yeah, that's the thing I take away from animation a lot. Just how good they are at showing kids how to grow. Cartoons are good at doing what parents can't do for their kids, which is help them mold and grow up to be model citizens. Because a lot of us grow up in a do as I say, not as I do environment. And then you watch a certain cartoon and you're just like, hey, I could just do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, definitely. And I am very, grateful for the people that produce animated television series, because as you said, like, a lot of times, kids are in that environment and they don't have the voice or the means to, advocate for themselves and don't even have really an avenue to understand what that means. And
exactly.
And so through animation and through just this escape kind of from reality almost, to be able to get those lessons and those virtues and things through and obviously have a laugh. But I mean, to sneak those in and to reflect back on them as an adult is really, really fun.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely. What, though, I want to know is your all-time favorite show that you just keep coming back to. Obviously, it doesn't have to be Winx Club, but that you just keep, like coming back to, that is like your constant, like your like A1 since day one,
Definitely Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's I have that on repeat constantly.
Yes.
I love that show so much to the point where I had lunch with an old elementary school buddy last weekend, and he gave me a Funko Pop of Zuko.
Yes.
It's the pop of Zuko redirecting the lightning. I was like, I don't have this yet. Oh my God.
I love that so much. Oh.
Shout out to Tyler Lee. Love you, man.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, Avatar, obviously go to. Kids Next Door is another one I go back to.
Yes.
Danny Phantom. So many.
Absolutely.
I was just rewatching SpongeBob last night.
Well, with all that to say, I would like to know, so this show is about Winx Club. Do you remember the first time that you ever saw Winx Club? I mean, we're roughly the same age. We grew up probably, obviously in the same era of animation.
We're 90s babies.
Yeah. So when was the first time that you ever saw Winx Club?
What's funny is I didn't start actually watching Winx Club until last year.
Amazing.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I saw it, like I saw the commercials and the promos for it, like coming up next. Because we grew up around that time where boys weren't allowed to like things. Right. Weren't allowed to like things where the demographic is girls. So there were certain things. There were a lot of things that were mainly for girls that I kept to myself. and before I came out and all that. So
yep.
I loved NSYNC. I loved Backstreet Boys. I loved Dream Street. I loved Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
I loved Kissy Kissy Goo Goo. Like, I loved all of them.
Yes.
I liked that stuff, but I kept it to myself a lot because I grew up in an environment where boys didn't really understand that none of that really matters.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now that I'm comfortable with who I am and comfortable saying what I like now, I like how just everything is flipped. Like,
I know it's so nice.
You can be a nerd. You could be feminine as hell. It's so normal now. It's way more encouraged now than what it was in the early 2000s. But yeah, I started actually watching it last year. My girlfriend got me into it last year. So
amazing.
So when I told her I was going to be on this podcast, she's like, "What?"
That makes me so happy. Forever grateful to your girlfriend for introducing you to Winx Club.
Yeah, I was definitely deprived because I'm like, this is good. I don't know why people aren't talking about this enough. This is good.
Yeah, definitely.
These witches are bad.
They're so good. They're so bad. They're good.
Love me some Darcy. Me some
Darcy. Truly.
She just had the best. She just had my favorite. Her look was just my favorite.
Yes.
The purple top with the glass. When she put the glasses on, I'm like, you look like every
a 70s dream.
You look like every 70s dream. You look like the meanest. You look like the meanest girl in a 2000s high school movie.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I love it so much. Well, I do like to do this little thing before we take a break and give you some rapid fire Winx questions.
Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh.
So are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Who's your favorite Winx member?
Techna.
What's your favorite season?
Right now, I'm liking season 1 a lot.
It's good. It's a good one. Yeah. Who's your favorite specialist or male warrior?
None. None of them do it for me. None of them.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Riven can die in a ditch.
Bless up.
I just when he first popped up on the screen, I'm like, he's evil. Look at his hair. He's evil.
Just too spiky. Can't be a good guy.
He gives me alpha male podcast energy. I don't like him.
He would.
He even talks like a Chad. Out of the way, fairies. Let the specialist take care of it. Oh my God, I hated him so much. We lost the troll. Now we got to deal with Timmy being clumsy. Ugh. I hated him so much.
I love.
Then he started simping over Darcy. I'm like, you don't deserve her. You don't deserve her.
White male entitlement at its finest.
Oh my God. Keep this man away from a mic. Keep him away.
Doesn't deserve one. Don't pass him the mic.
My God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. None of the specialists really do it for me.
Fair. That's very fair. Favorite transformation?
Muses. I like how her boots and her all of her clothes really they look like a disco floors, the dance floor to like a disco set, and then she's like spinning on a CD. I'm like, you got it. Absolutely. Yeah, early 2000s aesthetic, yes, for sure. Get your Y2K on. Go ahead.
Yes. Favorite romantic relationship in the series?
I'll go with Bloom and Brandon. I'll go with
yes. Brandon with blonde hair. Yeah. And then, of course, favorite villain, which I think that I could guess based on.
It's Darcy.
It's Darcy, yeah.
It's Darcy, yes.
Amazing. Well, that's all I have for rapid fire questions. That wasn't so bad. You did great.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into this week's rewatch episode for season 1, episode 14, so don't go anywhere. Enjoying the show? Be sure to follow Winx Forever Podcast on your preferred streaming platform so that you're notified when the new episodes are released.
But you won't understand it if I say it though. Even the Flash gotta take it slow. No matter the shoes, the only thing that doesn't change is I stand on my own too. Yeah, no matter the shoes, the only thing that doesn't change is I stand on my own too. Everybody got some red chucks.
You're currently listening to Free Red Chucks by Winrow the Square off of his upcoming album, Calm and Bold. His short film featuring the song is now streaming on YouTube. Be sure to follow at Winrow the Square on social media for updates on his upcoming album. Now, back to our conversation.
I feel like I've been here before. If this is what I indulge in, I can never ignore it. If this is what I indulge in.
All right, friends, we are back with Winrow the Square. He is joining us to discuss our rewatch episode this week, which is season 1, episode 14. And we're just going to kind of dive in. So as we left off with season 1 in the mid-season finale, Bloom had just discovered that she was adopted and probably not even freaking from Earth. I mean, a lot to unpack there, you know?
My God. That was so much.
What a terrible spring break to come back from, and then you go straight into exams, and it's like, how am I supposed to function?
My dad's not my dad. My mom's not my mom. My ancestors might be evil.
What is happening? Yes. Yes. So the original Italian title for this episode is Il Segreto di Bloom, which is the secret of Bloom. In the Cinelume dub, it is Bloom's Dark Secret. And then in the 4Kids dub, the title is called Witch Trap. So I love that in the last episode of the original dub, it was literally called A Great Secret Revealed, right? In episode 13. And then now this one is called, in the Cinelume dub, Bloom's Dark Secret. It's like, we just love secrets in this season, don't we?
We really do.
That is a huge foreshadow too.
We gotta harp on that. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Just so you know. So there's no surprises. This is a secret.
It's a secret. It's a secret. We're just unveiling secret after secret in this season. It's all very mysterious. We get it. Right. So the synopsis for this episode reads, Bloom and Brandon, with blonde hair, attempt again to enter the crypt of the Magic Archive in Cloud Tower to find out more about Bloom's origins. They enter the crypt, but to everyone's great shock, discovering that Bloom is a renegade witch and not a fairy, quote unquote. The episode opens up at Cloud Tower. Headmistress Griffin is asking Myrta, the witch who we met a couple episodes ago, that, she's asking her to recite a spell, and Myrta seems... she's
for the exam, right?
Yes, for their exams. It's all exam season across all schools, and so she's very hesitant, but she gets the answer correct, and Griffin reminds her that a good witch must be confident. And while she kind of goes and records Myrta's results, the other witches are sitting around her and her friend Lucy, and mocking Lucy for being humiliated during the 2 episodes prior, the Miss Magic's contest that the tricks kind of duped her in. And while the witches laugh at her, Myrta returns to her seat next to Lucy, and is kind of concerned about her friend, because she knows that that is weighing on her a lot, and witches are kind of cruel. So
meanwhile the witches are just clowning her you have a friend?
Yeah.
You care about people's feelings?
Oh, that's embarrassing. Yeah. It's so embarrassing.
Such a loser.
Yeah.
Care about your friends?
And it's really interesting because the original dub does open up with this scene at Cloud Tower. But in the 4Kids dub, the episode actually opens up with Bloom taking her big exam in the, lecture hall of Althea.
Yeah.
But this scene with Cloud Tower and the 4Kids dub, Myrta is actually asked to recite her favorite spell. And we learn here that Myrta isn't as cruel seeming, as other witches that we've come to know in the series.
She wants to do a friendship spell.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Apparently a lot, according to other witches.
Myrta, do you know what rhymes with witch? Because that's how you need to act.
But so Myrta, recites this friendship spell, and Headmistress Griffin fails Myrta, actually, because she's supposed to be witchy. Like, she's supposed to be a witch.
Like, I wanted a curse, all right? I want you to ruin somebody's life.
I don't want you to have a best friend.
Using spells to make friends? That's the loneliest thing I've ever heard.
She like literally like the other like witches like around them, instead of in the 4Kids dub, instead of making fun of Lucy, they're making fun of Myrta to Lucy. Like, loser wants a best friend. Like, rude. That's rude. That's so rude.
And Lucy didn't help with it either. She's just like, you're bringing me down. You're holding me back.
Like,
all right. I'm trying to be in these streets with the tricks, all right? I love that was what they were called, because growing up, tricks meant a trick was something completely different.
You can tell that this was very European.
Yeah.
Because notice how in the American dub they were not called that until the Nickelodeon version.
Yep. Because like in America, a trick is very disrespectful.
Not that.
Tricks are not these mischievous little witches. They're teases. They are harlots.
To put it nicely. That's very fair, because
So anytime the narrator or any character was like, but those nasty tricks were up to no good, like,
you're like,
well, you don't know their life.
Why are you out here judging?
It is hot witch summer. Don't tear them down like that.
I'm crying. Oh my God, yes. I did think that it was funny that Myrta had recited in the 4Kids dub this best friend spell. Like, maybe she had used that before in her life. Maybe after she cast it, that's when she met Lucy. Maybe that's why she has such an affinity towards this friendship she has with Lucy. Like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, when you think about it.
I got a result from it. Why would I not like this spell?
Exactly. Meanwhile, her best friend, quote unquote, is like an absolute witch and just the worst.
Yeah.
So the episode then transitions to show us Althea and the fairies going through their own exams. We hear the name Judith of another fairy passes her exam, and then Bloom is up next. And so with all eyes on her, Faragonda signals, for Bloom to be ready. And Bloom turns around to her target, which is like this rose secured in like a little bubble, like floating in the air. Yeah. And Faragonda begins the test. And so Bloom goes through these obstacles and succeeds in retrieving the rose. And the other Winx, who are like sitting in the aisle watching nervously, are, just anxious, like, about like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, because they know like all the crap that Bloom has been through the past couple of weeks,
Like, you don't want to fail an exam on top of all this emotional damage.
Truly. And so Bloom continues her way through the obstacle course and arrives at the finishing point. As she places the rose on this pedestal, Faragonda surprises her by manifesting this like magical rock boulder above her head. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock.
Yep, it's a rock. When she did that, I'm like, okay, so I don't know if you're really just trying to test her. I'm like, I know you didn't do that for Judith. I know you didn't do it. What is this? What is this? What's this bias going on? I don't like that.
I don't.
She made it. She made it. Let her place the flag. You gonna drop a boulder on her? Like you King Boomy? Like what?
Yeah, Farragonda, what is up? Like, we thought that Bloom is your favorite. You're out here, like, trying to crush her with magical rocks. Chill out.
Trying to make her exceed your expectations in front of everybody. Toxic. But she passed, so it don't matter.
But she passed, yes. So she passed. She, was taken by surprise, but she blasts it and finishes her test, and all the girls watching with originally frightened faces, cheer to Bloom's success. And Farragonda tells Bloom that she passes. And
that's
calls
seeing that support system in Althea versus the witch.
Just the stark contrast.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, but
two different schools, clearly.
In the Cinnaloom dub, when she like turns around and she turns back into her like normal clothes, and she does the little like pose. I'm like, girl, what did you think that was? Did you think that was cute? Like, can we not?
Oh, you thought you ate.
Literally. Sadly mistaken. But funny enough, in the 4Kids dub, though, as we've discussed in previous Rewatch episodes, 4Kids is widely known in the animation community for taking many creative liberties with their English dubbings for their licensed shows, for better or worse. And Winx Club, in my opinion, was one of the better shows that they had dubbed, even with all of the liberties that they decided to take with the original script. So in the 4Kids dub, this scene with Farragonda explaining how they go in alphabetical order, which meant that Bloom went first automatically for some reason.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Acting like there is not a student by the name of Amaryl present.
Right? Did she not come in today?
Was she sick?
Was she sick?
Hello.
Does she get dropped a grade for not being here?
Yeah. What is happening in this system, guys? What is the rubric for Althea grading? Because what?
Right? Because I assume if you don't show up, you just fail automatically. You just fail.
Maybe. Oh, you know what is funny though? Amaryl is one of the background character fairies that does appear year after year, even after the Winx graduate. So you're like, okay, well, that does mean she's out here missing exams. That does make sense.
Because you're just getting held back.
She's just getting held back.
You just care less about your education than Stella, honestly.
Which is saying a lot.
That's saying a lot.
My girl skipped a whole exam to go to a beauty contest.
I was like, girl, what are you, Frenchie from Greece? What are you? Go to class. You burned down the dorm. Like you need these credits.
You can't afford to fail. Really.
I don't care how rich you are. You cannot afford to fail.
You can't afford it. But in the 4Kids dub, Bloom does the entire laser beam obstacle course and, with a few hiccups, whatever. Yeah. But then with that surprise obstacle at the end with Farragonda, she actually failed. And then the episode cuts right to the scene where she's on the date with Brandon, quote unquote, with blonde hair. And she was talking to him and describing how difficult the exam was on their date in Magics. So, I mean, very different set of sequences from the 4Kids dub. Because it was just completely different. I do like how over and over again in this series, just because they're the main characters doesn't mean that they don't fail. And so, I mean,
I like when they do the realistic things like that. If you just show the main character winning all the time, that's gonna ruin your expectations.
Yes.
You're never gonna properly prepare for failure if you constantly see the hero win. So good on them for that.
On Bloom's date with Brandon with blonde hair and Magic's, Bloom and Brandon are hanging out eating ice cream, and Brandon is like in the Cinelume dub is telling her all about like his day. And it's just kind of like just talking. Yes, literally. And then he like notices that Bloom is being gloomy and asks if something is wrong, or is like, did I say something wrong? Is like, well, first of all, you haven't asked me how my day was at all.
I've been depressed over here the entire time. You talked about nothing. What you're talking about is pointless, by the way.
Yes.
It took him way too long. Like she's so sad right now. You're looking at her. You're looking at her.
And even to think they're already sitting down with their ice cream. So it's been even longer since they've been together, and he's just been talking.
You had to walk to the ice cream shop. You were in line. You walked to the table.
And you're just now asking how she is.
You're just now noticing something's wrong. Come on,
bro.
I'm gonna need you to step up your emotional support system, sir. I need you to step that up a bit. I'm gonna need you to forget that you're a himbo for a second.
Just for 1 second.
Just forget you're a himbo for a second. Your girl is crying over there. She was tearing up.
Like, literally.
She was genuinely tearing up.
And, part of me wonders if it was from, literally her inner turmoil, or just how boring of a conversation she was listening to.
You ever hear a conversation so dull, you just start crying.
You just start openly weeping.
Oh, God.
But it's funny because, in the Cinelume dub, Brandon with blonde hair, all of their dates are like this. Girl, how are you attracted to this person?
You don't listen to nothing. You don't ask me nothing.
Oh, my God. So Bloom reassures him that she was actually preoccupied with the news that, about her adoptive parents, and how she feels hella insecure about many of the unanswered questions that she has. And,
Where am I
that she's
from? Who are my parents? Am I from Krypton? What's going on?
Right. Yes. And so, hoping to help, Brandon asks, well, what kind of questions do you have in mind? And then she's like, well, my powers, my origin, who am I? All of these things. And then he's like, those are a lot of difficult questions.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I'm like, are you trying to help? Oh, my God.
I'm like, I'm gonna just blame the writing on that one. I'm gonna just blame the writing on that one.
It also is very painful because the Cinelume Right English dub does take a very literal translation from the original Italian. So
exactly.
you can tell. Whereas the 4Kids dub was a little more thoughtful with how would an actual person say this in English?
Right.
So I don't know what was going on up in Canada with this dub, but it clearly was just a Google Translate situation.
Yeah, they really just said make Brandon just so simple-minded as possible.
You ever heard of cardboard? That.
Make him that.
Just make him that.
Those are a lot of questions. No shit, Brandon.
Yeah, it's dude, you were straight faced lying to this girl right now about who you are.
Right? The sympathy was needed at this moment right here, Brandon. If anybody knows how it feels to be somebody else, it's you right
now. Yeah. Oh man, embarrassing for Brandon with blonde hair. So yeah, so exactly. So he does, offer assistance of I bet you we could get into Cloud Tower and get you, into the archives again. because Bloom, for some reason, thinks that, I mean, I know why. It's because in episode 6, they snuck into Cloud Tower and to get Stella's ring. And then that's when she found that there is, for some reason, a book about every fairy in the universe in the archives at Cloud Tower. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Don't think about it too hard because I promise it won't ever make sense. So Brandon's like, yeah, I can get Timmy to help me, with the schematics of the school and we can, figure out a plan. Right. And, this is the most helpful he's ever been in their relationship. So yeah, great.
For real.
We love a little effort.
Exactly. Bare minimum, guys. So
yeah.
Bare minimum.
But the interaction between these two characters and the 4Kids dub, like I said, was just very, very much more like thought out. And
yes.
For one, like Brandon with blonde hair was not talking about himself the entire beginning of the sequence. Like, and Bloom was actually just sharing about how she failed her exam, how she was frustrated with her powers, and how sometimes, they're so frustrating and don't happen when she wants them to. But then, she gets pissed off by a bunch of witches and bam, she goes Super Saiyan, like
every time.
Every freaking time.
Just turns into Phoenix Jean Grey.
Yes. Absolutely.
She's just Jean Grey.
Actually,
she's just Jean Grey.
She can even like hear people's inner thoughts and emotions
and see their aura.
Like Jean Grey. She's even ginger.
She's a redhead. She has fire. She can hear your thoughts.
Jean Grey.
You're just Jean Grey with wings and better platform shoes. Just Jean Grey with wings and way more glitter.
Yes. We love to see it. You're listening to the Winx Forever podcast. So the next scene, Brandon is kind of sussing out this plan with Timmy. And I love in the 4Kids dub that this scene starts out with Timmy saying, Cloud Tower is surrounded by magical defense source Brandon. Like the way that he says it is just so matter of factly, and it's like, dummy, you're not gonna be able to get into here.
You can't get in here, you idiot.
Yes. It's like,
it's locked.
Right. But then Timmy's like, luckily you have a Timmy, you have me. He doesn't say that, but it's insinuates but I can figure out a way that you can get in. It's like, shout out to the nerds.
I can unlock it. Yes. I have a key.
It's locked, but you have me.
Right.
So he assures Brandon with blonde hair, I keep wanting to call him Sky, and it's been so hard this season to not. And it's so funny because in the Nickelodeon dub, they don't switch identities in the Nickelodeon dub. And so there's a whole generation of Winx fans that don't even know what I'm talking about. So Brandon with blonde hair is also convincing Sky with brown hair that he'll be careful, but Sky's if you make a mistake, it's gonna be fatal. We're talking about a tower here. Sky knows. Yeah. Sky with brown hair knows that Brandon with blonde hair is determined to help Bloom, and so Timmy puts into Sky's GPS, the schematics of the school and helps guide them essentially into figuring out how to get in. But unbeknownst to them is freaking Riven, sulking around the corner.
Yeah, just listening in.
Listening
Darcy,
in.
I got some tea for ya.
Yeah, it's so in the Cinelume dub when he's like doing his little like telepathic like call to Darcy, he's just like Darcy. I'm like, can you not with that ever again, please? That would be great.
You pathetic little simp. The way he calls for Darcy, and she's just like, "What do you want?"
Literally, yes.
She literally said, "What do you want?" God.
Oh my God. Tell me you're in a one-way relationship without telling me you're in a one-way relationship.
Right?
Oh, but Guy doesn't see it. He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know until he's literally imprisoned by her and her cronies. And it's fine. But in, of course, the 4Kids dub, back at it with the funny code names Darcy and Riven have for each other. Darcy even says, like, good boy, Riven. Like, he's a dog.
Ugh.
Because literally his code name is Puppy Dog. I'm crying. It was not one of the finer moments for the 4Kids dub, I will say, but it is so funny.
That's not going to age well, but man, I'm going to laugh at it.
Yes.
Because I don't like Ribbon.
Oh, the worst. So that night, Sky actually goes and surprises Bloom at her dorm late at night to go pick her up while she was trying to sleep. She's just lying there awake, and then, she wasn't even really like, they didn't even like come up with a plan for this. They were just like,
right?
Yeah, we'll try to sneak in, And then Brandon with blonde hair is like, oh, surprise, we're doing it tonight. And she's like, give a girl a warning. I'm in my pajamas.
And you got to give me 3 minutes because I got to change. And then they laugh super hard at that for some reason.
For some reason, like there's so many moments that are just like, okay, you can stop laughing now. It wasn't that funny,
right? What is this? What is with this very long Scooby-Doo? Where are you? Laugh track. You remember how they end those episodes?
Yes, and they just laugh and laugh and laugh for like way too long, like 3 measures too long. You're like, you just gotta. Just
fade to black. Hurry up. Fade to black. We're done. The mystery is solved. Stop.
Laughs 5 seconds longer than it needs to. Yes, it's painful.
Yes.
Meanwhile, back at Cloud Tower, Lucy is refusing to show her face in public with, obviously the events of the Miss Magics contest, which was what the Tricks wanted all along. They just wanted to humiliate her, and Myrta, being the good friend that she is trying to console her, saying that it was the Tricks' fault.
Back up. Yeah, get her confidence back up. Hey, listen, don't listen to the Magic Plastics. They were just the plastics with magic.
Yes. Yes.
If Regina George was a witch. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. You are strong. You're a great witch. Screw you. You're holding me back. Yeah. I'm trying to roll with the Tricks. I want to be like them. You want to be like the people that humiliated you?
Right. Like what kind of toxic environment is Cloud Tower, creating for, I get it. We're trying to establish that witches are bad.
Right.
Which I have a lot of, mixed feelings about because
as somebody who's a huge fan of Studio Ghibli movies, I can tell you right now, witches have the kindest hearts. Witches are nice as hell.
Right. And so
I don't know where y'all getting this from.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because a lot of, and I mean, heck, Harry Potter, anyone? Right? Hello? So it was really funny that that Rainbow and the creators of Winx Club decided to take this take on witches, kind of a more traditional, take of like, ew, they're yucky, they're whatever. Yucky. But then you have
even though they're dressed like absolute baddies.
Yes.
Like there's not a single witch in here that looks like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, right. Yes, no wicked witches of the West here. Like
no wicked witches, nothing. Everybody's just slaying. That's it.
But then you have Myrta, you know, who is trying to kind of change that narrative for as a witch herself. And it's really cool to me to see this sort of narrative in such a early 2000s cartoon. You don't see this in a lot of early 2000s cartoon of like,
True.
Myrta is this outsider who's just trying to find her place in the world and then is unapologetic about it. And it's just so it's honestly one of my favorite arcs in the whole series.
Myrta was literally the only witch that broke out of the Stockholm syndrome spell. Like, wait, why do I look up to you people? You guys treat us like crap.
Right. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, wow, what a concept. Yeah, Lucy was extremely, extremely rude in the scene. It was no points won for Lucy in my book.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You failed the vibe.
You failed the vibe check.
Myrta might have failed the exam, but you failed the vibe check, which is worse.
Which is worse. Yes, way worse. So, you know, obviously frustrated after this encounter, Myrta goes out on this, you know, very windswept terrace, you know, on one of the spires in Cloud Tower. And she's determined to protect her friendship with Lucy. And she uses this spell to kind of learn what the tricks are actually planning, you know, like she knows that they're up to no good. She knows that they're doing like extracurricular activities with, you know, trying to take over the universe.
Y'all got too much time on your hands.
You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Yes. So she actually learns that they're trying to steal Bloom's power, and she probably like vaguely knows who Bloom is because she's had not very many encounters with her. She knows that like there was that big fight in Downtown Magix in episode 9. And so, you know, like she probably vaguely knows who Bloom is at this point. So she learns that they're actually going to trick Bloom into thinking that she's a witch and into stealing her dragon fire power from her. Mm-hmm.
Because the information that she gathered from the tower was you're a descendant of evil witches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in that scene where, you know, they are in the archives, Bloom is like, it's really like different than, you know, when I was here last. But when they do kind of like stumble across this big book, like, would that not be like a red flag of like, this is just sitting here waiting for you?
Right?
Maybe
that's suspicious.
That's suspicious.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
That's weird.
You didn't have to go to any bookshelves or anything. You didn't have to. It was right there.
We're not saying that they're the brightest characters in the series. You know, they're not really the smartest, like deductive reasoning wise. But
like there's a reason these witches were able to come up with so many schemes, and they actually go through with them. There's a reason that most of their plans actually fall through. Right. Because y'all gullible as hell. I love how Brandon like stepped back like, oh no. I don't even want to touch you. I can't even look at you.
The absolute prejudice in that moment, it kills me. I'm like, how is that like accepted in society in magic?
The immediate turnoff he had, like, I was into you at first, then I found out you were a witch.
That's just icky. That's just, I don't like that.
This was your idea to come here. This was your idea.
You literally woke me up from my bed.
You pulled me out of my bed. Showed up to my balcony like this was Aladdin.
Oh my god. Yes. Yeah. And then laughed way too hard about a joke that wasn't even funny.
Right? Wasn't even a joke.
was not even a joke. Yes.
I have to get dressed. Snuck me into this tower.
To learn even more, probably more devastating than the fact that she is adopted and doesn't know where she's from. Like, I was good not knowing, actually.
I was chilling. not only am I adopted, I might be evil. And here you are standing there, head down, debating whether to give me a ride back home.
Right.
That's what he was like. Shoot, we carpooled.
I know. The realization on his face. Like, I hate that in the 4Kids dub, that is literally what happens. He literally, because Flora's like, it was Tekna that was like, she insisted on walking back from Cloud Tower. Yeah. And you just let her? You literally just let her do that.
You just let her walk home by herself like that. And she didn't even make it home.
She didn't even make it home.
She fell asleep in the middle of the woods.
I have no words for Brandon with blonde hair other than what the hell.
You see why none of these specialists do it for me?
Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely 100% totally get it because they're not it.
We out here with Chad energy. We out here leaving innocent girls to go home in the woods by themselves. I don't care if she's a phoenix. You should not have left her like that. Yes.
That is bad. But in the Cinelume dub, to Brandon with blonde hair's, credit, he in the Cinelume dub, he did drop her off at Althea that night.
Yeah.
And then she started walking, herself. She didn't even go back to the dorm. She started walking herself, through the woods to Magic City because she needed.
Right, yeah.
Yes. So at least in that dub, he at least did the chivalrous thing and did drive her back. But then but then literally ghosted her. But then literally.
These dubs are just alternate universes.
Yes.
These dubs are this is just multiverse theory. That's all.
Yes, this is multiverse.
And in
the Winx multiverse.
This is the Winx multiverse because of these dubs. And in every single one, Brandon is a dick in some way.
What we've gathered is
he'll have some redeemable thing.
And then just ruins it.
And then just ruin it.
Blessings. Yeah, it is rough for our girl Bloom and her love interest because he is not it. He is not it.
He ain't doing it.
But yeah, so then the Winx, obviously are in the dorm the next morning and they're like, yo, Bloom didn't come back last night. Either things went great on her date or things went really bad.
And I think they went bad because Brandon ghosted her.
Because truly, just stops talking to her, doesn't even talk to her for the next, couple of episodes. Hello? And yeah, so it's real sketch, and they're like, we need to go find her, in the 4Kids dub, obviously. They called Brandon and were like, she insisted on walking back from Cloud Tower like a freak. And then in the Cinelume dub, they're like, Sky said Brandon with blonde hair said that he brought her back last night. Something's up. Yeah. Yeah. Found out she's a witch and then dumped her. Yeah. Sure you did. So, they decide to go and find her. So they all transform and they all take turns using their powers, specifically to find Bloom, which this was such a cool moment in this episode for me because it was very much like girl power work together. Like each of us have something unique to contribute.
Mm-hmm. Let's spend this time showing how inclusive we are. Yes, it's gonna take way longer than finding Bloom, but let's do it.
Yes. Right. Necessary, questionable. Cool, yes.
Because when Flora used her magic to here's her footprints. Let's just follow this trail based off the grass. I'm like, that was smart.
Yes.
Flora has the most useful tactic right now.
And then the other ones add things that are
they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, Flora and Tekna's made the most sense. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I can follow the trail. I can pinpoint exactly where she is. And then Muse is like, I can use like echo.
Like sonar readings. Yeah.
I can use sonar reading. And then Stella's like, I can glow. So you guys can follow me in broad daylight where we don't need you to do that.
To Stella's defense, I gotta defend my girl Stella.
Go ahead.
It is called the Gloomy Wood Forest, so it is very gloomy in there. She does need to shine her light.
So I saw that forest. It was bright as hell in that forest. She wanted some way. She was trying to find something to be included.
She was just vying so hard.
She was like, I'm more than just a pretty face, guys. I swear. I promise.
And what's really sweet is that the other girls are like, oh, yeah,
they're
Stella,
like, you know what?
Thank you.
Like, this does nothing, but we're going to let you do this because we're a team at the end of the day. So Stella, with your body so bright, won't you guide us?
Guide my sleigh tonight. Stella out here taking Rudolph's job. Right? Watch out, Rudolph.
My God.
What is very funny and something that I just thought about is in the live action Fate the Winx Saga series on Netflix, there is an episode where they do... they're not going to find Bloom, but, well, actually, okay, so Bloom wanders off in the woods, and Stella and Aisha are looking for Bloom, and Stella is, like, worried because she's like, it's gonna get dark soon.
Right.
And then Aisha is like, so your power's useful after all, you know, like, kind of throwing that shade, which is hilarious because it is literally this scene. It is literally them going to look for Bloom. And then Aisha just straight, you know, delivering the best burn. Like, yeah, like your power is useful. Great, cool. If it gets dark, light it up, girl. You know?
Yeah, because I'm sure in the live action,
it was actually dark.
Whereas in the anime, I'm like, it's still daytime. You could just,
but you know what? Pop off, Stella. That's fine. You.
Go off, queen.
Yes, go. You know,
it's fine.
Yes. Well, you know, we already have the useful things. That's fine. Go ahead.
We literally have everything we need to find Bloom right now.
Yeah, so somewhere in the forest, Bloom wakes up in a pile of leaves, and she's like, I need to get to Magic's before I put everyone in danger. It's like, girl, like, there's
already a search party.
Yes. Yeah.
You've been gone for literally 24 hours.
Yes. Like, girl, this I think counts towards the tally of how many times that Bloom has ran away from Althea, because it's many times in the series. And it's a whole joke in the fandom of like, oh, you know, you did that as many times as Bloom ran away from Althea. You know, like it is a known joke that Bloom has like commitment issues. So
I love that.
So, you know, this is probably the first time that she's ever tried to run away from Althea. First of all. Second, but in the 4Kids dub, she's actually trying to get back to Althea, which kind of debunks that. But in the original, it is whatever. So, but Myrta's also in the woods trying to find Bloom as well. So not only do we have, you know, the Winx in the woods trying to find her, Myrta in the woods trying to find her, the Trix in the woods trying to find her.
My God, everybody wants a piece of Bloom except Brandon.
God dang, girl cannot catch a break.
My God.
Oh, but Myrta does finally catch up with her, and, you know, she reveals to Bloom that, like, it was all a trap set by the witches, that she's not actually a witch. Which, like, can you believe, like, this really kind, really sweet witch found you to tell you that? And she's like, oh, thank God I'm not a witch.
The prejudice doesn't stop.
It does not stop.
Even when you thought you were a witch for 5 minutes.
So rude.
That's like, I remember when I like lost my iPhone and I had an Android for like a year. And when I could afford an iPhone, they're like, oh, thank you. Get this primitive brick away from me.
Same energy.
Back to blue bubbles.
Yes.
That's what she did. What she did. She said, thank God, I'm so glad I'm not an Android.
Oh my gosh. That is, yes, absolutely. So the Tricks, as we mentioned, are also walking through the forest. For some reason, why are we walking, girls? Like, you guys can fly. Like, why do we choose to...
Pretty sure y'all can teleport, too, at this point. Like,
yes, they can teleport. They can fly.
Y'all can vanish. You can do so many things.
Maybe they're... I mean...
I think they were being considered... I think they were being considered of the baby duck who still can't fly yet or grow.
Or grow ever.
You're just a baby duck that Icy likes to throw at a wall occasionally.
You know, yeah. They're for morale and sometimes, you know, to get to let out your frustration, which is really terrible.
Like,
poor Pepe.
When she yeeted that duck at the wall, like, oh my God.
And in this episode, like, Stormy literally
electrocuted. I'm like, what did this duck do to you guys?
It literally just existed. It literally reminds them every time that the Winx counterspelled them at the day of the dance, and they cannot, like, they'll never forget it because it follows them around as that nagging reminder.
I would neglect this duck until the day it dies.
Which, like, after the season, we never see it again.
Right? I'm like, oh, did y'all decide to eat it? What happened?
So the Tricks find Myrta and Bloom together, and the Tricks are like, oh, you guys are such losers, you know, like, and then...
why do they keep doing that?
Like, literally, why?
You guys make such a cute couple because you're losers. Like, we were just existing.
Like, who hurt you? Like, what? You? Like, what is happening? Yeah, so these girls are, you know, obviously... out to get Bloom, so if they can hurt Myrta in the process, you know, that's just, you know, extra brownie points for them.
We got time.
Yes.
We got time.
Oh, it's if they actually, you know, like, stayed focused for 1 second and didn't try to, like, hurt literally everyone in the equation and just, like, sought out Bloom, they'd probably have the Dragonfire a lot sooner than they actually did in season 1.
You would have Stella Scepter a lot sooner too.
It's true. That's
when you thought Stella was the powerful one.
Yes, that's so true. It's like when you're too diabolical to function. Like that is what they are. Like,
they're so focused on being bitches that they can't
be bitches. Yeah.
This power should have been apprehended.
Like, should have been snatched like the day that they figured it out. Yeah, like, could have been, would have been, was not. So Myrta, you know, as they're about to get attacked by the Tricks, she is the witch / in later seasons fairy of illusions. So she is able to disorient the Tricks for a little bit with this apparition of Stella. Yeah, and then Darcy's like,
Darcy, oh, you think I'm stupid?
Yeah,
this whole think I'm stupid. I literally do what you do, but that's her.
But better.
You think I don't know an illusion when I see one?
It's so good. It's so good. So she, you know, quickly sees through that, and she's like, it's just a little firsty trick. And it's just so good. The shade, the you know, combat, like, dialogue back and forth is so, I love it. So then, like, Icy starts to encase Myrta and Bloom, and Kiko for some reason is there. I don't know.
He's the emotionally support animal.
Yes,
emotional support animal. Yeah, he's ride or die. Kiko is ride or die.
Really? Yeah. And someone needed to square up with Pepe the duck. So
yeah, somebody's got to beat up the duck.
Yeah. When the tricks aren't doing it, Kiko is, you know?
That was the only logical thing that came to mind when I'm like, why is this duck with them? Oh, because Kiko's got to beat somebody up.
Yes, Kiko's got to contribute. So as Icy is encasing Myrta and Bloom in ice in her classic ice coffin in the 4Kids dub, that is her spell that she goes to, which is so funny because then the actual Winx show up and attack them, and Stella literally delivers a line, ice coffin, ooh. She needs to majorly update her attack collection. Like, yes, the shade, I love.
You clearly haven't leveled up like the rest of us, who have learned much stronger spells after every encounter we have.
Like glowing in an already well-lit forest, but it's fine. They don't need to know that part.
Vecna, shut up.
Techno, we don't need your logic right now. Stop. I'm trying to look badass in front of our enemies.
Right? The point is, Icy has not improved her spell game, all right? She's a one-trick pony.
Oh, one-tricks pony?
Yeah, got bars.
Oh, man. So, but yeah, it is very funny because I love that attention to detail of, you know, how much the Tricks and the Winx do know about each other after their run-ins with each other again and again over the series. Like it's that like fun, like kind of camaraderie of like with your enemy of like, I know you like, you know, the back of my hand now that we've literally have fought each other so much. So
you keep doing the same move.
Yeah, like you get to know each other really well, trying to destroy each other.
Also Bloom at this point, you know what your powers are. Melt that frickin' ice. What are you doing?
And which is why I loved the 4Kids approach to this episode specifically, of her explaining how her power was so frustrating and how she doesn't know, you know, why she sometimes just can't even control it at all. I love that. And I didn't, that's why it didn't make sense in that moment. Like you said, like, girl, like, you're fire.
I have seen you make fire. I have seen you make fire disappear in that kitchen with your mom.
Yes. Like, clearly, like, fire is your element. So, like, use it.
That's your thing.
You're listening to the Winx Forever podcast. Then, in order to help the Winx escape kind of like the Tricks' attacks, Myrta, you know, sums up enough energy after thankfully being thawed by Stella's magic sunlight power. So Myrta conjures up this huge monster that, again, is another illusion. And Icy, at this point, is just ticked the freak off. She's like, I am like done with this little freshman.
I'm so pissed. I can't even formulate a proper insult. You're a pumpkin.
You're a pumpkin. Poof, you're a pumpkin.
Actually, yeah. You know what? First idea is the best idea. You're a pumpkin.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Bibbidi bobbidi bitch. There, you're a pumpkin.
And that's exactly what happens. Myrta, our favorite pumpkin girl, is then materialized into a pumpkin. And it is probably, and of course that makes Bloom frustrated and finally comes through at the last second, because why would she be helpful at any other time in this battle? Comes through with her Super Saiyan powers.
It's not like you're the strongest or anything.
It's not like you were literally the person with the magical like force that created the universe inside of you at all. It's fine.
And like you decided to go Super Saiyan for the character you have the least connection with.
But she did just reveal to her that she's not the thing that Myrta is. So
right. But you did tell me I'm not some sick backstabbing witch. So gotta give you props for that. Like, you're
so like I will go Super Saiyan for you. That's fine.
I'll go Super Saiyan for you. You have to they had the same prejudice that Jacob had towards vampires.
Yes. So Bloom suspends her prejudiced ideals for like a second to go Super Saiyan for Myrta, which is fine because she blasts the witches right out of the forest, which is
Team Rocket them just
blasting off again.
Just Team Rocket them
Oh man.
Oh my God.
They probably felt so stupid. Like, girl, you wasted your chance to turn a girl that doesn't even matter into a pumpkin.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It just doesn't add up. Like, I thought that y'all wanted to control the universe. Like, I'm sorry.
And my thing is, why don't you guys come up with better plans to catch the strongest person? You know she's strong as hell, and yet y'all are spending more time coming up with insults than an actual plan to take her power.
So they've defeated the Tricks, finally, thanks to Bloom finally coming through.
Right.
And in the 4Kids dub, Flora goes and expresses her, concern over the girl that literally just got turned into a pumpkin in front of their eyes. Yep. And in the 4Kids dub, Flora is like, oh, that was a witch on witch spell, so it's going to be really hard to to break because it was black magic. And like, I love that. Like, and it's a little
I did appreciate that. Like, I can't really counteract this because I'm fairy magic. Witch magic on witch magic is a little out of my
right. And they're all still
my jurisdiction.
Yes, they're all still freshmen. So like, it's all very new territory for them. Like, oh, never seen a girl get turned into a pumpkin before. like this was not on our exam.
Like, maybe I can figure it out next season, but until then,
we're gonna just take her. You're just gonna take her back to the dorm.
It'll just be part of my collection of plants.
What if just all of Flora's plants, because she does have talking plants, what if just all of them were just people that just got turned into plants? The Flora's like, Flora, this is mine now.
Flora, are you evil?
Flora's secretly evil?
Are you secretly evil, Flora?
Is Flora the one that was actually a witch?
I don't want you anywhere near Baby Groot. That's what you.
Yeah, no, keep Flora way away from Groot. Oh my God. Yeah. But it is really cute because Flora, as they're going back to Althea, Flora's like, we'll take her back to the dorm. And then Stella like chimes in the 4Kids dub. She's like, or find a place to plant her. It's like, Stella, no. Stella, no.
10 steps back.
Yeah, way too soon. Like, this just happened. We're all still a little traumatized from it.
Like we're still kind of shocked that this happened, and you just over here like, hey, Halloween's around the corner.
I mean, my girl, just she does cope with humor. She really does.
She could be a murder lantern. It's okay.
My girl Stella. I think that Stella is every millennial coping with like traumatic instances with just just memes and Vine references, like
yes. That's
just how we cope. So yeah, that is the end of the episode. Flora welcomes Myrta to Althea. She's the first one to welcome a witch into Althea. Big steps, big strides happening in this episode, like for a lot of characters.
Bloom's over here like, well, I was the first person from Earth to go to this school, but
Bloom always trying to make it about her.
But whatever.
But at the end of every episode, we do like to kind of point out what is the most Winx-tastic moment of the episode, and we're calling these the Winx Forever moment. So, what would your Winx Forever moment for this episode be?
Oh man, because honestly, the most Winx-tastic moment for me was seeing Kiko beat up the duck. I know this is very iconic fight going on with the witches and the fairies, but can we talk about how Kiko
was just
contributed just like, no, I gotta hold off this duck.
Because clearly he was the biggest threat.
He clearly was.
Oh, yeah.
And then also that very cute moment where all the Winx are including their powers to find Bloom.
Yes.
Like it was cute. It was very cute. Like I like because I like seeing those moments where people show how useful their powers are with one another and how great they contrast with one another. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good way to blend it in and show that contribution, even if it's Stella. Like
it's sweet because
it's so sweet.
Even the people that seemingly don't have contribution. Yeah. They
didn't demean her or nothing. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
You can have this.
You shine, Stella. You go, Stell. Yeah, we love you. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you are more than just a pretty face. You are.
Yeah.
You really are. You were honestly you were the strongest one out of all of us before Bloom showed up. So
yeah. She was Bloom before Bloom.
Yeah.
The tricks were after her before they were after Bloom. So one might say, yeah.
Right. Yeah, wow. Those are my favorite moments in the episode.
Yeah. I would agree. That is definitely, probably my Winx Forever moment too, is just all the girls. And then obviously the iconic, fight in the woods itself is just really, it's quintessential Winx, like witch on Winx. Like it's so good. So, wow. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
This has been just like such a treat and so fun to talk about our favorite fairies and to get to know you more. Do you have anything, going on right now? Anything coming out soon that you want our listeners to know about?
I mean, aside from my music, that is that'll be coming out in June. Nice,
exciting.
Other than that, that's actually about it. Everything else is just you'll have to follow me, guys, at Winrow the Square on TikTok and Instagram, where I'll be continuing my Avatar: The Last Airbender reality TV show series. Got two new episodes that'll be ready for you, and
I'm so excited.
And some people want me to start a series for Harry Potter. Because I put out a video yesterday of like, what would the Hogwarts dynamic be like in the ghetto? And it's just, it was received surprisingly well. So
that's good.
I'll try to come up with some episodes for that, so you guys get your little Harry Potter series.
I love it. Oh my God, I love it so much. Well, thank you again so much for being on the show. Everyone, please go check out Winrow the Square on all the social media, specifically on TikTok. I will link all of his links below. So until next time, I am Lola Valentine, and this is the Winx Forever podcast.
Peace.
Wow. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of the Winx Forever podcast, be sure to follow or subscribe on your preferred streaming platform to be notified when new episodes drop. You can join in on the conversation when you follow at Winx Forever Podcast on social media. The theme for the Winx Forever podcast is the song She Makes Magic by Big Wild.